Next at 9, the state budget crisis affecting the Department of Health.
Fox 25 has got your back with a look at which programs are being cut.
Plus, what local law enforcement is doing to prevent white-collar crimes.
And Fox 25 examines the health benefits associated with the drug known as magic mushrooms. Next at 9.
From the Fox 25 studios in Oklahoma City, this is the Fox 25 Primetime News at 9.
Right now, this is a live look at our state capitol where Oklahoma lawmakers have halted a special session after failing to reach a deal on funding.
Oklahoma's budget crisis is now impacting some of the state's neediest families. The Oklahoma State Department of Health announced that it's going to cut funding for 9 child abuse prevention programs and 25 community health centers as of November 15th.
Fox 25's Caroline Vandergriff is live in the newsroom looking at how it will impact families in our area. Caroline.
Well, these programs help prevent abuse and neglect by giving parents much needed support and training, and statistics show they work. But the Oklahoma State Department of Health says the current budget situation has left them with no choice but to cut funds.
So there's different lessons and curriculum and just kind of step-by-step processes they can go through.
Parent Promise sends trained parent educators into the homes of at-risk families to give them the skills to create a positive environment for their children.
Basically break generational cycles of hopelessness that they may have come from.
And statistics show the program does help prevent abuse and neglect.
93% of the families who have had in-home parent education and support services, 93% of them don't go into DHS. That's a pretty high percentage of success.
But the State Department of Health is cutting the funding for Parent Promise and 8 other similar organizations in Oklahoma, which will impact about 650 families across the state.
It's certainly something that we did not want to do. We believe in the programs.
The health department says the current budget crisis left them no other choice. The state faces a $215 million shortfall this year after the Oklahoma Supreme Court struck down a cigarette tax.
And this is just another step that we've had to take to be fiscally responsible going forward. And it won't be the last measure that we're taking.
Even though it leaves groups like Parent Promise scrambling to help needy families.
We will be trying to find the funds to continue our services at the same level we have been.
Parent Promise needs close to $300,000 to make up for what the state cut. If they can't find a new way to get that funding, about 75 families in this area won't be able to get the help they need. Wendy?
Caroline, thank you. And as part of this decision, 25 federally qualified health centers in Oklahoma will also lose funding that helps them cover patients without insurance. Overall, the cuts will save the health department about $3 million.
All new at 9, Oklahoma lawmakers could soon be getting a pay cut. The Legislative Compensation Board voted today to keep the $38,400 annual salary for now. With travel, meal reimbursement, health, and retirement benefits, their total compensation is actually around $62,000. But several members suggested reducing pay and benefits because of the state's budget crisis. Those changes would affect the state's 149 legislators.
Good evening, everyone. It was an awesome October day, which turned into a beautiful sunset this evening. Hardly a cloud in the sky, and skies are still clear this evening, and it is super cool. So we have starry skies. We are in the 50s and 60s, down to 56 right now in Oklahoma City. And Woodward, you're hanging on tight to those 60s, but everyone falls into the 40s overnight on the chilly side, and clear skies all the way, just a little bit of wind. But we will be warming up quite a bit this week. It's going to be a cooler and wetter weekend. How cool and any risk of severe weather? We're going to talk about that and much more coming up in your Storm Watch 7-day in just a few minutes.
Jeff, thank you. All new at 9, a Metro man is being called a hero after police say that he rescued a 17-year-old girl who was forced into prostitution. Police say Izavia Smith had kidnapped the girl from outside a Dallas nightclub and then brought her to Oklahoma City. Reports show that a Good Samaritan responded to an ad for a prostitute, picked the girl up, and then called police. Smith was arrested on a complaint of human trafficking. Right now, Oklahoma City police need your help finding a woman who is wanted for murder. Police say Shasa Hamilton shot 2 people Saturday night near Southwest 15th and Penn. One of those victims, Eugene Johnson, has died. The second victim, Jennifer Galindo, is still in critical condition. Hamilton is considered armed and dangerous. If you do see her, call 911 right away.
A foster parent arrested for child abuse is now facing charges of first-degree murder. Court documents show 24-year-old Austin Davis admitted to shaking 2-month-old Jacob Thomas because the baby was crying. Records show Davis said he picked up the baby and shook him while telling him to stop. People who live nearby say they've seen crime in their neighborhood, but nothing like this.
You just don't do that to a baby that's so innocent and young. I mean, they can't defend themselves. They can't talk. They can't do anything.
The baby was previously in DHS custody before being handed over to the Indian Child Welfare Program for the Choctaw Nation. They released this statement saying, "We extend our prayers and sympathies to all those impacted by the death of this infant. We are supporting a full investigation of the case. However, confidentiality laws prevent us from commenting about a specific child or case." New at 9, a Las Vegas-style shooting threat at an Oklahoma concert now under investigation by the FBI. It happened at the Choctaw Casino and Resort near Lake Texoma last week. The threat was posted to Dwight Yoakam's Facebook page saying, "You think the shooting in Las Vegas by Stephen Paddock was senseless and horrific? Your concert in Durant is next." The threatening comment has since been deleted, and Yoakam's concert went on without any problems. Choctaw police have not said if they have any persons of interest.
We've got your back tonight. More and more scams are keeping our police officers very busy these days. Here's a live look. This is the Better Business Bureau scam tracker, and you can see quite a few scams reported in the metro right here. Oklahoma City police officers say that these kinds of crimes are on the rise as everything becomes more digital. Well, tonight, an Oklahoma City detective who has seen it all explained how to avoid scams. Fox 25's Jordan Lucero joins us live right now with what you can do to protect yourself. Jordan.
Tonight we met with that detective as he met with the community. This was at a police town hall that happened less than 2 hours ago. This is so the community gets a chance to interact with our police department, but tonight they also got a chance to learn about scams.
Scams and fraud, topics Oklahoma City Police Detective Robert Varney says are important ones. As a white-collar detective, he says he sees people fall victim all the time.
To see what's out there so that they can possibly avoid these traps, if you will, and not get caught up in them.
He talked with the community at a town hall meeting Tuesday. Here are some of the tips he gave. Actually pay attention to web addresses. Looking for HTTPS if you're on a site that needs your personal information. The S means it's secure. Check for similar looking addresses because scammers will set up fake websites with very close web addresses. When it comes to buying or selling things online, look at the grammar on the listings. Oftentimes, scammers come from outside the U.S. and have bad grammar. Don't respond to requests to see the item you're selling. If someone is interested in your listing, make sure they're distinctly asking about it. Never wire money to a stranger. That's generally always a scam. Don't accept money orders or cashier checks. You'll hand over the item and then discover they were fake. Each division of the Oklahoma City Police Department holds town halls once a year with a different topic. It's a way to also allow people to learn more or ask their questions of police. In this division, they know this was an important topic.
A patrol officer always gets the initial investigation, whether it's the 911 call to a homicide or to someone that's a victim of a white-collar crime or a scam.
You can look for other town halls if there's a question you've been wanting to ask about police or their response, and you can get more on tonight's town hall on my Twitter feed at Jordan Lucero. Back to you.
New details tonight about the fourth murder trial of a former Tulsa police officer, Shannon Kepler. He's charged in the death of his daughter's boyfriend in 2014. The trial got a late start today because of a debate over a new witness. Attorneys argued Josh Mills shouldn't take the stand due to his mental state because he tried to check into a rehab facility over the weekend. But the judge allowed it. He told the jury he saw the whole shooting and claimed he was the first one to help Jeremy Lake after he was shot. Spectators in court say his testimony offered some clarity to the case.
So it was very compelling to see him. He answered a lot of my questions as to what actually happened. And I think that was so strong for them to bring him on, even in the mental state that he was, and he did a great job.
Kepler claims he shot in self-defense. His previous 3 trials ended in mistrial because of hung juries.
Happening today, 2 senators have reached a deal in principle to restore Obamacare cost-sharing reduction payments for 2 years. This is being done in exchange for more state flexibility. President Trump, when asked about the deal, called it a short-term solution, but appeared supportive of the proposal.
We think it's going to not only save money, but give people much better health care with a very, very much smaller premium spike.
Still, the president insisted he was intent on fully repealing Obamacare, an effort that has repeatedly failed in Congress. And new information tonight on the president's revised travel ban. Wendy.
That's right, Mike. A federal judge in Hawaii has blocked the ban. Trump's 3rd version of the policy was set to take effect tomorrow. The new restrictions were to cover 8 countries: Chad, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Syria, Venezuela, Somalia, and Yemen. Judge Derek Watson said the travel ban plainly discriminates based on nationality. A Justice Department spokesman said they will appeal.
And coming up, the latest attempt from lawmakers to tackle tax reform.
And we're going to take you live to California, where wildfires continue to ravage that state.
Plus, the potential mental health benefits associated with magic mushrooms.
And Fox 25's Phil Cross shares the story of 2 brothers who left their farm to serve their country.
And coming up on the Primetime News at 9, we're going to take you to Science Museum, Oklahoma. Clash of the Titans, the stars. I'm among them right now, believe it or not. These guys, you had to really force them to do stuff. But we're talking about stop motion animation and the creator of them right here. All of his works are found right here at Science Museum, Oklahoma. We'll show you them coming up right here on the Primetime News at 9.
And don't forget that we've got your latest news, traffic, and weather every morning. Start your day with Chris Stanford and Jasmine Anderson from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Good Day OK. From the Fox 25 studios in Oklahoma City, this is the Fox 25 Primetime News at 9.
New details tonight. 2 people are hurt after an explosion and a fire at an oil field in Texas. Now, it happened in LaSalle County. This is about an hour southwest of San Antonio. Take a look. 2 victims were taken by helicopter to a hospital. They are expected to survive. A fire official says when fire crews responded, they found several oil storage tanks on fire. A new tank was being built where the explosion and the fire happened. The cause, though, is still under investigation.
Back here in Oklahoma, a man is behind bars less than 2 weeks after being released from custody of the State Department of Mental Health. Now court records show he has victimized a baby in Logan County. Fox 25's Emily Collins has got your back tonight with the timeline of events.
His name is John Joseph Marquise, and his most recent case here in Oklahoma County dates back almost 20 years. Marquise was charged and convicted in 1998 of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon after he reportedly walked into an Edmond business, grabbed an employee, and then cut her neck with a knife. According to court documents, Marquise was found not guilty by reason of insanity and was committed to Eastern State Hospital, what is now known as the Oklahoma Forensic Center, for a 45-day review. He has remained in and out of custody of the Oklahoma Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse ever since. That is, until recently. Now, according to an order filed in Oklahoma County District Court on September 28th and signed by Judge Cindy Trong, quote, the defendant is placed on 3 years of court-supervised conditional release and, quote, the defendant shall reside at a sober living house, Ruth's house, for 1 year. Any change of residence must be approved by the court. Not only was Marquise ordered to take 3 drug tests a week, but he was also subject to compliance checks by a case manager with the public defender's office. However, court documents filed in Logan County on October 13th show Marquise is now charged with injury to a child after being accused of hurting a 10-month-old child for an incident that happened on October 11th, in which he allegedly injured that 10-month-old child by, quote, physically wrapping an object around the child's neck, causing a strangulation injury, and by causing multiple fractures to the skull. Now, Marquise was finally located by Guthrie Police Department detectives in Oklahoma County yesterday and arrested. He is currently being held in the Logan County Jail on a $250,000 bond. But several questions remain. Logan County District Attorney Laura Thomas tells me she nor her detectives have been able to locate the Ruth's house listed in the court documents. And she says they have determined Marquise was in Logan County for at least a week. The Mental Health Department tells us they recommended against the release of Marquise. However, Oklahoma County Assistant District Attorney Scott Rowland and Marquise's public defender Bob Ravitz denies that statement, saying the department only told the court he was not in any treatment program. Now, right now, Fox 25 is working to determine how a man deemed a danger to the public was released without little or no supervision. Mike and Wendy, back to you.
In political news tonight, a full court political press today from the White House in an effort to change the way that you pay taxes. Our chief political correspondent Scott Thuman spoke with the president today and has more. This is only on Fox 25.
A round robin of Republican leaders taking turns with the media today trying to sell tax reform. Even a drop-in by the president who talked to me about patience.
How frustrated are you that we're still at this point?
Well, it's very early. I mean, I've been here for 9 months. If you look at, for instance, if you talk about health care, it took much longer than that for Obama to get off the ground and Obamacare, and that's nothing compared to what we're proposing.
The vice president telling me, quote, after 30 years, it's time. But with scathing assessments by tax policy groups claiming the top 1% benefit the most, or that it would be harmful to scrap the coveted state and local deductions, how do they argue it's beneficial to all? The White House says it will put more money in the average person's pocket and won't add to the debt.
We believe it will be roughly deficit neutral.
When you say relatively, does that mean somewhere in the neighborhood?
Pretty close. You know, it's a thing as complicated as tax. You can't pin it down to the very last penny.
This White House still very much looking for its first big legislative win, and they believe they are on the verge of a possible Republican roll, especially in light of the common ground just on display between Mitch McConnell and the president.
I think Congress is getting on board with you more.
I think they are. I mean, we have a big budget coming up this week, as you know, and without the budget, we can't take the vote on taxes. We hope that the senators will be on board.
And if they can pass those, they hope health care could be next.
Is that a sign of momentum, you think?
Well, I think it's a sign of momentum and cohesion. We're hoping that the Congress can work together. We know the president is working the phones, working the Senate.
At the White House, I'm Scott Thuman.
And coming up, thousands of evacuees in California slowly returning to their homes tonight.
We're going to take you live to fire-ravaged neighborhoods and show you how homeowners are starting to pick up the pieces.
Clear and cool for the kids at the bus stop in the morning. 40s to around 50. No rain in sight, but rain is likely this weekend. Who gets the most? Those details and numbers in your Storm Watch 7-day at 9:32.
Right now, the smoke from the California wildfires seen all the way from space. Take a look at this image from NASA.
Yeah, firefighters are making progress battling the deadly wildfires, and rain is in Northern California's forecast later this week. But entire subdivisions and neighborhoods have been destroyed, causing more than $3 billion in damage.
It has been 9 days now since thousands of families were chased out of their homes by the fires.
Even if there's nothing left, some people are determined to get around those barricades to try to salvage whatever they can from the rubble.
Gia Vang joins us now live, and she has more for us from Santa Rosa. Gia.
Mike and Wendy, in areas blackened by fire just like this one, it's hard to get into. There are barricades all around this area. It took us through 2 checkpoints to get to where we're standing right now. If you're not a member of the media or not an emergency crew member, you're not going to be able to get in. But one man found a way.
It all seems,
just trying to soak in this.
Like piles of ash.
It's pretty gut-wrenching at this point.
It was 2 in the morning. Everyone in Nick's family sound asleep.
There was embers streaming. I mean, however fast they said the wind gusts were, I've heard 70, 80 miles an hour. And once I saw them going through the oak trees, that's when I really realized we're getting out right now.
Out means he, his wife, and 3 kids are at a hotel. But there's a yearning from him to come back to their home of 7 years.
Here's our Hanukkah bowls.
Even if it's this, and the fact they're not supposed to be here with the many checkpoints to keep them out.
We're just coming in and taking another look. Haven't quite gotten to the point where they're gonna let us in to do full digging through the rubble.
But the National Guard is. Units deployed from all over have descended in the ground zero areas. Members say they're helping the Sonoma County Sheriff's Office dig for anything they can give back to the people who owned it.
Table kind of made it.
But for Nick, he'll go it himself, and with hope, under all of the ash, something.
I was able to find a piece of my daughter's pottery that she did, a little ice cream cone top, so able to grab that.
Deputies say it could be days or weeks before they allow people to come back in and then sift through all of this debris. But until then, if those people try to force themselves through those barricades, they will be stopped and they will be arrested. Mike and Wendy.
All right, Gia, thank you. Coming up, an amazing story of 2 Oklahoma brothers who fought for our country more than 60 years ago.
How a recent trip to Washington, D.C. helped the brothers honor their bond to each other and their service to our nation.
From the Fox 25 studios in Oklahoma City, this is the Fox 25 Primetime News at 9.
These days, military service is optional. You volunteer to join. But in the not-so-distant past, the draft turned Oklahoma farmers into soldiers.
Fox 25's Phil Cross shares the story of 2 brothers who were recently given a chance to see how much their service actually meant. This is a story that you'll see only on Fox 25.
It's 3:30 in the morning, and Willard and Richard Patoska are loading on a bus. A much different bus than the one that met them after they were drafted into the Korean War.
They said, "You're going," and I remember met the bus in town of Kingfisher.
As they joined the dozens of other veterans from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, they remember their assignments. Based on tests they took after being drafted, the brothers were sent on 2 very different missions.
I was sent to transfer to the Adjutant General Corps, went to Fort Lewis, Washington, and served the rest of my 2 years time there.
I attended automotive mechanic school. Then I went overseas. We were Army with Air Force, so we were building an airstrip there at Stansted, England.
The Patoska brothers, along with their younger brother, who has since passed away, served to support all the military operations in Korea. Now they are the ones being supported. From the fire department's water cannon salute that sent off the inaugural Oklahoma Warriors honor flight, USA! USA! To the cheers, signs, handshakes, and hugs that welcomed the veterans into the nation's capital.
So I was the first one out. He didn't want to lead the way, so I was the first one out, and all those people there, that just gets to you.
Honor flights seek to encourage veterans and let them know their service isn't forgotten.
That's different.
And Willard and Richard don't miss a moment. For Willard, it's a return to the city he served in, running punch card computers in support of the war effort.
It means so much more now that you're with the fellow veterans than it does if you're here on your own.
Some of the monuments Richard has seen before when he visited D.C. with a friend after the war was over.
It's been a few years since I've been here, in 55 when I got out of the service.
Yeah, a few, I guess.
Yeah, it's been a few years.
But as it happens, a lot has changed in D.C. in the past 60 years. One thing hasn't: the Patoska brothers' bond and their unending enthusiasm.
Like to hold it? No, better not.
And while this day is all about them, they know pulling off a trip like this took a small army of volunteers.
I know they spend lots and lots of time preparing, getting things together so we can enjoy.
But ask any volunteer and they'll let you know every bit of the work is worth it. They're paid back in smiles from all the brothers in arms. In our nation's capital, Phil Cross, Fox 25 News.
We've already been sharing stories from the inaugural Oklahoma Warriors honor flight, and there are more to come later on this week on the Primetime News at 9.
And if you'd like to see more or find out how you can help make a trip like this possible for more veterans, all you have to do is just go to our website, okcfox.com.
Today, another local veteran got some major upgrades to his house from some community organizations. Joseph Moore served in the Korean War and is now 91 years old. His home he lives in is on the south side of Oklahoma City, and it's starting to show its age. He couldn't afford the repairs, so Rebuilding Together OKC and the Home Depot stepped in to help. The Home Depot brought in the volunteers to do repairs on the house.
I have to check myself to find out. Catch myself to see if I'm still yeah, this is magnificent. I never expected this.
The renovations included new appliances, siding, paint, lighting, and fixing a major hole in the ceiling of one room.
Hope you're having a real nice Tuesday, everyone. No rain is in the forecast between now and Thursday. Great outdoor weather continues, warm, sunny, and breezy afternoons until Friday. Heading into the weekend, a cool front comes in. That means clouds and showers and winds will be on the increase, and the possibilities of rain do pick up later on Friday. And as we head throughout the weekend, this cool front swipes through Oklahoma, and most of us will get rained on. Bone dry tonight, clear and starry skies, lows in the 40s to about 50. So we wake up to around 51 in Oklahoma City tomorrow morning. Chilly, but near normal. These are average temperatures, so we're going to kind of have to get used to it. Winds will be picking up throughout the day, and that will pick up the temperatures to about 71 at noon. A lot of big blue skies everywhere, pleasant and breezy. And tomorrow, awesome outdoor weather continues. 77 for your high in Oklahoma City. Warm and very doable, staying sunny and just a little bit breezy. So we'll do that again on Thursday, so get out and have a ball. Those shower chances show up Friday, stepping into the weekend, and the best possibilities, the way things are looking right now, later on Saturday. So let's talk some more about that. Friday afternoon and evening, only a small chance of a passing shower. The possibilities are like 10-20% Friday afternoon and evening, so most of us will not get rained on. Friday night football is looking okay, but most of us will get rained on later on Saturday. In the morning, a small chance of showers in the morning, northwest heading into central Oklahoma. But by Saturday afternoon and evening, scattered to widespread showers and thunderstorms as this front marches through. Now, isolated severe weather is possible, so the severe thunderstorms should not be widespread, but a couple may produce some damaging wind and hail and heavy rain. And again, a lot of us will get rained on. The better chances after about 4 or 5 o'clock Saturday afternoon, heading into the overnight, because rain and thunder are still likely as we go into Sunday morning. The cooler weather doesn't really get here until Sunday, and Sunday morning, a few leftover showers. Whatever rain is out there on Sunday morning should be gone by the afternoon, and yeah, way cooler, if not chilly, by the end of the weekend. But between now and then, high temperatures in the 70s, near or just above average. And then on Sunday, highs go all the way down to about 67 degrees. And then on Monday and Tuesday, sun comes back out and we're right around 70 again.
Coming up, the popular app Venmo adding a new feature.
Yeah, we've got your back with how the new addition could make your online shopping a whole lot easier. In business news, today's workers are opting for a more flexible schedule by freelancing. According to a new report, 36% of the U.S. workforce is now freelancing. That's 57.3 million Americans. Now, the study shows nearly 50% of millennials choose to go down the freelance route. Researchers also say by 2027, freelancers will make up the majority of the U.S. workforce. Self-driving cars are making their way to New York City. GM says it will begin testing Chevy Bolt prototypes in Manhattan next year. GM already tested self-driving cars in downtown San Francisco, where it has dealt with numerous fender benders and other hazards of city driving.
The popular app Venmo isn't just for splitting the dinner checks with your friends anymore. A new option lets you make online purchases via the app from more than 2 million retailers. Venmo is owned by PayPal, and its new features will work by tapping into its existing payment network. PayPal execs say they want to turn Venmo into a digital wallet for your smartphone. We've got your back now with some health news. Nearly 16 million Americans are diagnosed with depression each year, and those who seek out treatment typically turn to either medication or psychotherapy. Many experience benefits from these conventional treatments, but others don't. And it turns out mushrooms may be a pretty effective alternative. Fox 25's Jasmine Anderson has more.
A new study has found the active ingredient in magic mushrooms that might help with mental illness. Listen to this. According to Men's Health, researchers say there's still a lot of work to be done, but they have said the natural psychedelic component in mushrooms shows promise as a treatment for depression, as the mushrooms can reset the activity of key brain circuits. The researchers reported that the treatment had an immediate effect, with patients saying they felt less stressed and noticed improvement in their moods following the treatment. And they say the findings provide a new window into what happens in the brain of people after they have come down from a psychedelic episode. The MRI imaging of the patient's brains shows reduced blood flow in certain regions of the brain, most notable for processing emotional responses, stress, and fear. The author warns that while the initial findings are encouraging, the research is at its early stage, and patients with depression should not attempt to self-medicate. I'm Jasmine Anderson, Fox 25's Good Day OK.
The National Weather Festival is this Saturday in Norman from 10 to 2. The whole Fox 25 weather team will be there. Our storm trackers, we're going to have a green screen, prizes, chase vehicles, and a whole lot more stuff for everyone. The Fox 25 news team will be at the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. Temperatures in the morning will be in the 60s, mostly cloudy skies, windy and mild. The best chance of showers and thunderstorms this weekend is on Saturday evening, heading into the overnight. Then cooler and drier on Sunday, maybe a few leftover morning showers, highs about 66.
A little bit of Hollywood has made a home at Science Museum, Oklahoma. The work of Ray Harryhausen is on display right now.
Yeah, actual models from the animation film pioneers' work is there, including work from the Clash of the Titans. Fox 25's Mitch English has more from the exhibit.
We're here at Science Museum, Oklahoma, and right here, you know that's Medusa, right? You couldn't look at her straight in the eye. Remember the movie Clash of the Titans? Well, remember all of those stop motion animations that they had? Well, they've got them here on display here, and you're able to check them out. Some person knows everything about it, Scott Henderson here. He's with the Smart Space. This is a neat display of art and really science as well, isn't it?
Right, yes, there's a lot of science in this. Of course, for the stop motion animation is definite science because it's timing, it's scale, it's really quite involved.
Even creating the creatures, I mean, there had to be some kind of a skeleton setup, right?
Yes, exactly. So like I said before, the armatures that are inside, and everything has to go to scale, so he had to shoot these models and then compare them with live acting and stick them in with live acting, so everything had to scale out properly.
And of course, we're talking about Ray Harryhausen, his works right here at Science Museum, Oklahoma, and quickly tell us what's happening Friday.
Okay, Friday we are going to host the movie Clash of the Titans. It's an all-ages event. Vanessa Harryhausen will be coming out with Connor Heaney, who's the collections manager. Vanessa is Ray's only daughter. This is a very special appearance. They're both coming over from Scotland, and they're going to do a Q&A with the audience and some behind-the-scenes stories. You know.
Yeah, so if you're a big fan of really just movie making, this is definitely the place to check out. All the details are on our website at okcfox.com.
And the next time you're at the store, consider picking up a few extra items. Fox 25 is teamed up with the Regional Food Bank to make sure every Metro family has a Thanksgiving meal worthy of thanks. Boxes are set up at each of these grocery stores all around the city. We're looking for boxed or canned items and no glass containers. Byron.
Coming up in sports, I've got a feature piece on Thunder guard Andre Robertson. And the NBA season began tonight in Cleveland, and fans and players were shocked at what they saw occur in the game. I'll share that with you and what had them speechless next in the Sports Wrap.
That was a tease. That was a sports tease.
Myron knows how
I like
it's
that
done.
stuff.
Oh, some of us had a sneak peek, and yowza.
Okay, can't wait for that, and really can't wait for the weather the next few days as well. Temperatures will be about the same, somewhere in the 70s, sunny to partly cloudy skies. But as we head into the weekend, it will get muggier, windier, and more than likely rainier, especially on Saturday. The best chance of showers and thunderstorms this weekend in the evening and overnight. Heading into Sunday, mostly dry, 67 degrees, sunny, and 70s next week.
Hello, everybody. The Oklahoma City Thunder have been big newsmakers in the offseason, adding names like Paul George and Carmelo Anthony as seen as a positive move. But for this to work, others have to find their place as well. Andre Robertson is one of those others.
You can't hang your hat on your offense. You got to let defense be the anchor. Andre Robertson showing it.
The ability to sacrifice and competitive nature are two things to describe Andre Robertson. They're traits that make him one of the NBA's best defenders. Each night he takes on the league's best offensive players, and with one thing in mind, don't let them score.
You gotta be resilient, you gotta have that edge to you. And always, just have that constant motor going. Every play, every possession, guys gonna come at you. You gotta be at your best and on your toes. So you gotta do whatever it takes to get it done.
You take it personal when somebody scores on you?
Just say, for sure. Sometimes, especially when they talking smack. Because I'm not a big smack talker, so when they do that, it gives you that much more incentive to go out there and get it done.
The Thunder offseason has been dominated by the additions of high-profile talent, players who carry significant resumes, all-stars who are used to being the center of the team, who join the reigning MVP. But it takes more than just talent to win, with one main ingredient needed.
Chemistry, that's the biggest part. I'm a firm believer in chemistry, helps the team out, helps the team go a long way. You can always have all the talent in the world, but if you don't play together, you won't go far. So I feel like, we got great guys, Carmelo, PG, Patrick, Ray, they're all great guys, and I think they'll fit in just right. So.
How do you make chemistry? How does that come about?
It comes about, just being around each other, hanging around, and just, doing things together. Just kind of getting a feel for each other, playing on the court together. That plays a big part, but also off the court, wanting to be with the guy, just hang around.
Robertson's best offensive work is done when he's near the basket. He spent the offseason working on improving his free throw shooting, which sank to 42% last season. But he says he will not be shooting underhand like legendary Hall of Famer Rick Barry. Because he's been with the Thunder his entire career, he's taking more of a leadership role, including making sure that Carmelo is comfortable in his new surroundings. What do you tell Melo about Oklahoma City?
It's different in New York, and I think he's gonna love it. It's more of a family-oriented, community-based. We're all in this together as one, and you're always gonna have people to back you up.
Robertson is about to start his 5th season, and though he's still young, he admits he's doing a better job taking care of his body. Now, the NBA season began tonight in Cleveland. LeBron James and Boston's Kyrie Irving exchanging fist bumps before the game. Kyrie requested a trade out of Cleveland, got his wish. Now, here's a warning. This next piece of video is hard to look at. Gordon Hayward goes high to get the lob, comes down wrong, and breaks his ankle for real. Fans are stunned, shocked. Even the players on the court, like LeBron James, well, they can't bear to look either. Hayward's night is over, likely the season as well, but it still came down to the final possession. Boston was down 3 points, and who gets the ball? How about Kyrie Irving with LeBron defending? Takes the shot, he misses. Cavs win by 3. And check this out, LeBron and Kyrie giving it up to each other. Big question, football going into Oklahoma season is who would be the receiver that provides the big plays that D.D. Westbrook gave them last season as a senior. Now, so far it's been tight end Mark Andrews, who leads the Sooners in receptions with 23 and yards at 459. Do the math, that's 20 yards per catch, which is better than any other tight end in the country. His latest big catch was the game winner at Texas, which covered 59 yards and showed he's a tough cover.
It creates mismatch problems. It's a guy that's that big who shouldn't be able to run that fast, and so the teams kind of have to, pick and choose who they want to cover him. And because if they put a little guy that can run with him, he's just much bigger, and he'll body him up, and post up and catch the ball, and then you put a bigger guy that might, you know, match for size, and he can outrun them. So it poses troubles for them, and so teams want to double team him and you know, key in on him too much. That's when you get the guys on the outside that have big games.
Oklahoma's game against K-State shown right here on Fox 25 Saturday. Kickoff is at 3 o'clock.
Traditionally, we've played really well at 11 a.m. We had a lot of 11 a.m. games last year. I don't think 2015, I don't think we had a single one. So, you know, I think no matter what time the game is, you can't control it. So Coach Gundy does a great job of adjusting the schedule accordingly, you know, for every single change of game, you know, game time.
OSU's Mason Rudolph saying the 11 a.m. kickoff against Texas, no factor. Mike Gundy calls Texas the most athletic team in the Big 12. Also, Thunder signing P.J. Dozier to a two-way contract. He's going to wear Kevin Durant's old number 35 to honor his second cousin, Reggie Lewis, who died as a Boston Celtic. That's sports.